Good morning and welcome to Enviro News. First up, we have a pressing and controversial issue. Likely you know the dairy industry is one of the largest consumers of water on this planet. But do you know just how much and how much it costs this earth? The issue of water overusage in the dairy industry is not just a problem limited to New Zealand, but globally it takes an average of 1,000 litres of water to produce a mere 1 litre of milk. This includes blue water from rivers, lakes and groundwater sources. Majority of this water is used for irrigating crops as feed for cows. However, it is also used for growing pasture, animal drinking water, cleaning equipment and barns, as well as in dairy factories. Water scarcity could become a serious concern if we are not careful, especially here in the dry Canterbury Plains. What we must acknowledge, however, is the financial and environmental consequences of our ignorance, if nothing is done at all. That's enough from me. Now over to Caroline, reporting to you from a dairy farm in the Canterbury Plains.
Thanks, Olivia. I come to you live from a Canterbury Plains farm. Not all New Zealand farms are created equal, as only 2,000 farms of 12,000 use irrigation. These dairy farms are the users of 4.8 billion cubic metres. In Ohio, US, a 2-year study showed that the average cow consumes over 30 times as much water daily as a human does. And combining that with the average wastewater, volumes required for cleaning, brings us to a staggering total of 114 litres of water per individual cow per day. Water use in the dairy industry is a great deal larger than other water activities in New Zealand, primarily due to its irrigation use in hydrologically deficit regions. Most of this is allocated here in Canterbury, followed by Otago. Canterbury water use is very high due to its demand for irrigation. The region that is irrigated covers an estimated 364,000 hectares, over 2.5 times the size of Greater Christchurch. As we can see, these issues are not only local but global in its impacts on fresh water availability. If the dairy industry continues to drain these supplies without regulation or amendments, we will be facing major water scarcity around the world. Now is the time to be implementing strategies and solutions for the future. Back to you in the newsroom, Olivia.
Thank you, Caroline. Very informative stuff. We clearly have a big unaddressed problem on our hands. Now to conclude, we head over to Elsie in the studio to ask our special guest some of the more pressing questions. Who do you have for us today, Elsie?
Thank you, Olivia. I am here in studio with Dr. O. Reynolds, an expert in our field of water resource management within the agricultural arena. It's a pleasure to have you with us this morning.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here, Elsie.
First of all, what would you say is the most effective means to reduce and regulate excessive water use within these industries?
I believe we must introduce and enforce sustainable farming practices across the entire planet. This would not only lead to better water management, but also have a host of other benefits, including a boom in biodiversity and a minimisation of pollution.
Great. So how exactly do you envisage we implement this?
Firstly, one way we can minimise water usage for growing crops, especially in dry areas, is to introduce polyculture farming in order to provide cover crops. Cover crops can create a microclimate, cooling down an area and reducing net water evaporation from the soil. This also leads to healthier soils in the long run, as well as greater yields and therefore more valuable crops. Another method is to regulate when and how irrigation can be used. Irrigating at night reduces evaporation. Even more effective, however, is underground irrigation that transports water directly to plant roots via drip feeders, so there is significantly less runoff.
Wow, those are some very sound ideas. Are there any other potential sources of water that aren't being utilised, ones that we could be made more aware of?
A more drastic method, perhaps, is to build desalination plants to take water from the ocean and treat it with chemicals to remove the salts. This does, unfortunately, create a brine that, when put back into the ocean, damages the ecosystems.
So, what is your take on the continual expansion of water-intensive practices such as dairy farming on the hydrologically deficit land areas such as that seen in China, California, and right here in the Canterbury Plains?
My take is that it was never a good idea to begin growing crops or raising farm animals in areas where getting enough water, not to mention getting enough water sustainably for agriculture and for people, is going to be difficult. Globally, we need to be aware of water availability and rainfall and plan where crops and animals are best suited to. Otherwise, we're going to continually have this issue, which is ultimately going to result in freshwater scarcity and food scarcity for humans.
Well, if all else fails, we can always pop a big fat pipe through the Southern Alps and tell those water hogs on the West Coast to share the load. That's all from us. Thanks for watching from everyone here at Enviro News.
Really try not to laugh.
Keep going.
Keep doing that?
Yeah, keep going.